Episode 33, Calligraphy in the Storm. When the world begins to forget art, an ancient mission will wake up again. Welcome to the Sky Mender's Fragments of Artistic Space. Ancient Eastern China more than 8,000 years ago, the cosmic dome cracks, the abyss of nothingness swallows everything. In despair, Empress Nuwa blooms with high-dimensional divine light. The hand rest condenses the original emotions of the universe. 5 colored stones soar up. When the colorful stones touch the cracks, turn into a bright stream of light. The abyss closes. She spread the fire she created into the world. Leave hope and warmth to the world. After a long time flies to a highly automated future. Humanity is gradually losing its connection with art. Numb collective subconscious, breeding the name Zero Domain. The absolute power of reason. Gray and white cracks tear apart the time and space of the art universe. The sky that had been repaired collapsed again. Countless artistic essences were reduced to fragments, scattered in every corner of the long river of time. In the cold, dead city, a high-dimensional light quietly lit up. Iona appears with the echo of Nuwa's compassion, holding in hand space-time bricks that can collect broken time and space. She looks up to the broken spiritual universe, said softly. Only by retrieving the scattered art and life touch, only then can we reassemble the lost truth, goodness and beauty. Gray data covers the streets of Taipei in the future. Taipei 101 in the rain is hidden in the cold light and shadow. Young Liu is just the most ordinary person in the city. When Iona handed the space-time building blocks into his hands, the long-dormant artistic memory suddenly flooded into my heart. The long-lost sense of life awakens again. This time, we must mend the sky ourselves. Liu holds the blocks tightly. Embark on a journey to mend the skies spanning thousands of years of artistic civilization. In front of the wooden table in a traditional handmade stationery store on Dihua Street in New Taipei, Liu is holding a digital light pen in. Record random inspirations and smooth lines in your electronic notebook. The store has a warm atmosphere, pedestrians recording cards on the street. However, the handwriting that fell with the light pen instantly lost its power to turn. Everyone's handwriting was automatically corrected to become cold and cold. Standard geometric square characters. Personal personality completely disappears. Liu picked up the warm teacup, but he found that his manuscript music score on the case was being swallowed up and wiped out by the geometric code of the Zero Domain. This cold formatting noise is modifying brain parameters, trying to completely erase human beings' aesthetic perception of sound waves and words from their ideological roots. Let the memory die. The space-time building block suddenly made a voice. Unlock line dynamic trajectory capture and the perspective function of the age of ink. Liu was startled by the sudden sound. Open your eyes and look at this building block with newly awakened emotions and surprise. A blue shimmer flows on the surface of the building blocks. Jimu asked curiously, Liu, words are nothing but information symbols. Why do humans waste time in vain? Liu pointed to the table, patiently explained to it that handwriting is the breath and personality left by the soul on the paper. Liu leaned against the titanium doorframe, facing the high-frequency flashing white light screen in pain. He clearly felt that his heartbeat was synchronized with the high-frequency noise. Zero Domain attempts to write down the entire human body, verify that it is formatted like machine output in Organic City. At this time, the space-time building blocks on the workbench are suspended in midair. The information resonance and emotional filter mechanism starts automatically. Spray out countless high-dimensional stardust particles that emit a warm and slow silvery white light. Iona's hazy figure gradually appeared in the particles. Silver hair is scattered with orange-red warm light. Iona's eyes are detached, focusing on calling in his mind. The breath of pen and ink is dying. Liu, go look for the 4 ancient poems and the self-narrative. Liu took a deep breath, instantly swallowed by strong light. After traveling through time and space, Liu landed heavily next to the stone table in the main hall. In the storm, towering Baroque stone monuments and huge bamboo pavilions are located in. The Tang dynasty stood quietly in the night sky. The air is filled with flying metal ink dust and painful cold rain. Inside the ancient bamboo forest pavilion, the huge stone tablets and stone tables are being sealed by the geometric barrier of Zero Domain. The scroll originally painted with wild cursive handwriting showed a formatted and dead gray appearance, lost the original ink shade and charm. Brush and rice paper on the desk. The original handmade wool brush and Shengxian manuscript were shriveled and hardened. Turn into a temperatureless gray-white lump. There is no sound in the atmosphere of a brush scratching paper. All that's left is the crazy low-pitched high-frequency formatting noise. The scholars and audience members in the pavilion turned into gray-white film silhouettes and stood stiffly. The facial expression remains the same, numb and empty. They forget why they need to create and feel. The phenomenon of handwriting uniformity is spreading crazily here. Space-time bricks analyze the madness seriously. Reports say that the shedding rate of brushes is as high as 90%. Liu was dumbfounded and quickly stopped him. I helplessly corrected the building block and said that it was the white beauty formed by the ultimate sketch in calligraphy. Liu held the rough brush in both hands, a real warm touch on my fingertips. The pen body lights up with a faint golden warm light when touched. Blue light flashes deep in the gray pupils. Experience the process of manually grinding ink and adjusting the temperature of the pen tip. Liu stood on a tall wooden scaffolding, used brushes and tools to painstakingly lay the staff and ink marks on the stage of the main hall. His face was covered with sweat and dust. The face shows an expression of extreme concentration and comic difficulty, looks funny yet extremely serious. Liu's focused profile as he wields his pen. Liu used a writing brush too, hands laying raw propaganda manuscripts on the stage frame. There are red marks on the palms. Every ink mark line is real. When the last wild white line of wild grass spreads on the edge of the raw rice paper, the stage that is not yet dry emits a crisp murmur. Circles of light red energy ripples in the atmosphere. This ripple spreads around with the warmth of the touch, collision with the translucent geometric codes of the surrounding zero domain, stirring up ripple-like interference and distortion in the water. To tear apart the emotional order in the space, Liu pressed his hands tightly on the warm stone table. Feel a real flow of emotions from your fingertips to your heart. Liu stepped into a building completely intertwined with ancient wood and rice paper. Towering majestic hall. In the center of the hall, there stands a statue made of countless handmade music sheets and a giant mask made of layers of wild grass and ink marks. Liu looked up. I saw a calligrapher emerging in midair, his hands covered in thick ink. The overlapping afterimages of the fanaticism waving on the stone wall, the ancient and surging whistling of ink marks echoed over and over again in the air. This sacred image unleashes an overwhelming emotional impact, hitting the depths of Liu's soul. He felt an unprecedented shock. The lines of the drawing are as smooth as jade under the firelight. The craftsmanship of the Tang dynasty is exquisite, sculptural chiaroscuro, showing the blend of ink lines and rice paper fibers, showing the ultimate craftsmanship born of eternity and order. It is the ultimate in human realistic art that cannot be simulated by codes and algorithms. Liu looked at these dense wild grass totems. Deep in my heart, I was deeply moved by this extreme love and persistence against forgetfulness. The black and gray geometric chains of zero domain tightly wrap around the giant mask. Gray noise in the atmosphere increases dramatically, quickly smooth out the surrounding blue and white totems. The surface of the stone wall turned into dead gray pixel particles due to desaturation erosion. The lingering spirit of the unknown craftsman half knelt in front of the collapsed bookshelf. The mandala of time beneath his feet was blown away by the wind. His hands that smelled of cold ink were turning into sand little by little. He roared in agony, sighing in despair. In the face of cold rationality, all emotions and personalities are unnecessary noise. Looking at the gray noise peeling off the edge of the stage, Liu's mind flashed through the numb expressions of those in the new Taipei stationery store. The face of the audience, without the warmth of writing, he knew clearly. If this gentle touch of adventure and art is allowed to be completely erased by zero domain, the future world will be completely reduced to a cold and ruthless precision machine. Liu held the brush tightly with both hands. The nebulae flow in the pupils. The iconic space-time blue fluorescent light bursts out from the darkness of the hair. All the emotional power suppressed by reason deep in the body was completely ignited at this moment. Cursive writing is not crazy lines. It's a run where the soul doesn't want to be bound by rules. Liu let out a deafening roar, hit the brush hard on the giant ink mark screen. The heavy impact exploded on the ground like spring thunder. The whole hall trembled violently, a materialized red color. Dark blue and golden energy ripples spread crazily outward from the wall in a circular shape. Shatter the zero-domain geometric chains and de-emotional codes, blocking the front. Double. Liu has quick hands and quick eyes. His hands continued to lay wild cursive lines on the ancient rice paper frantically and rhythmically. The continuous lines of ink pulsate violently in the space like the pulse of time of civilization. The spiritual reverberation of the unknown craftsman waves his hands in laughter, randomly swiping at the crumbling stone wall. The bright golden ink marks and golden light are there, spreading rapidly under the dazzling firelight, perfectly synchronized with Liu's frenzied movements. Together we compose a life movement against forgetfulness. The giant mask once again erupted into a dazzling cyan blue light. The sleeping figures of literati murals and fonts on the walls seemed to come alive. They danced a primitive writing dance around the dome in the dancing firelight. The entire palace became unstoppable at this moment. Red memories and torrent of emotions. Wash away all the gray and de-emotional codes in zero domain. The rolling blue particles are like boiling blood, galloping and roaring in space, announces the awakening of the most primitive emotional rhythm of this civilization. At the last moment, space-time building blocks will be on site. All the cursive calligraphy memories were successfully absorbed, transformed, and saved. Take Liu away smoothly. Liu woke up in front of the wooden table in the handmade stationery store. The handwriting regains its lines and personality. The customers around are smiling. The cold geometric font on the handwritten card completely recedes. The space-time building blocks flash with light beams. Liu, in the dynamic trajectory of wild grass and ink marks, I scan the ancient zero-domain data flow records. Liu looked at the holographic data map. His expression was solemn. It seems that this foreshadowing of civilization is the source of the collapse of time and space. Liu stuck the manuscript to his chest. His eyes were slightly filled with tears. The corners of the mouth are slightly raised. He understands. Real handwriting. It is the breath left by the soul on the paper. Without personality and warmth, the human soul will be barren. He understands that real handwriting is the breath left by the soul on the paper. The space-time building blocks rotate again. Blurred Japanese paper textures and moonlight lines are projected in midair. Liu clasped his hands together, staring at the building blocks with vigilant eyes. Liu quietly looked at the restored world, but to let future generations know, the wildly rushing ink marks, it is the most intense struggle of life between the square inches of paper. At this time, the next piece of art fragment has awakened. Blurred Japanese paper textures and moonlight lines are projected in midair, warning of the next crisis. Global Sky Menders, which method do you usually use? To end the day and get ready for sleep? Option 1. Swipe your phone, browse social media or news. Option 2. Read a few pages of books or listen to audio programs to relax. Option 3. Do simple stretching exercises to relax your body. Option 4. Lying in bed looking back on the day, then relax and meditate. Your answer, it will resonate with the emotions of countless Sky Menders. Stay in our memory bank. Global Sky Menders mission. This mission, please leave a message to share your thoughts. Who inspired your initial creativity? Every love. They are all a flame of art, time, and space. If you also hope that these civilizations will not be forgotten, please light up the love. Follow and share with friends around you. Let more Sky Menders participate in the task of repairing the next fragment.